Good evening. Welcome to the live webcast for our first ever test of the Fusion Air Launch System. I am Zach Connor, a propulsion engineer here at Fusion Space. And I am joined by Ian Ridgewell, a technician for the Eclipse kick stage. Fusion Air is currently targeting a release and ignition in around 15 minutes from now. The aircraft is currently on the ground and awaiting takeoff. Let's get an overview of the launch system in detail. First today, you will see the takeoff of the air launcher vehicle from the Drew Space Center runway. Second, we will see a release and ignition of the Fusion Air rocket, with the first stage scheduled to burn for about 2.5 minutes. After main engine cutoff, we can expect the separation and ignition of the second stage, which will get the vehicle into our parking orbit. Our fairings will jettison shortly after this as well, exposing our payloads to space. After the first cutoff of the second stage, we will enter a 12-minute coast phase to reach our target altitude of 500 kilometers. We'll then see the final ignition of the second stage, placing the vehicle into a precise 500 kilometers orbit, and we will then deploy our payloads on board. Let's take a look at the payloads we have on our flight today. I'll hand off to Ian for this.
Good evening. I am Ian Ridgewell, a technician for the Eclipse kick stage, which you can see to the left of your screen. We do have payloads on this mission, so let's take a look at what we have on board today. On board Fusion Air today is for FusionSats. We have previously flown them on Fusion 1. They are demonstration satellites which are fitted with technologies we wish to test for upcoming missions, which are yet to be announced. These will hopefully be inserted into a 500-kilometer orbit later today.
An exciting mission for sure. Another mission objective for today is the return and safe landing of our air launcher. This will not be shown on the webcast, but there will be a post confirming the return. We've just received the call out that Fusion Air is go for flight. Their launcher will now take off from our runway and climb to 20 kilometers.
Beautiful shot there as Fusion Air zooms past our cameras. Fusion Air is now on its way to 20 kilometers. We are now around 7 minutes and 10 seconds from release.
As we wait for this amazing event, let's talk about some critical developments going on at Fusion Space in preparation for the future. During October and November, we have conducted testing for our upcoming vehicles, Fusion 2 and Fusion 3. These tests involve structural test articles. To verify the design of our propellant tanks, we built 2 test tanks for this. And you can see one during a propellant loading test in your screen now. These tests were successfully conducted, and we learned a lot about them. We will use data collected to upgrade prototypes in the future. We have also developed 2 geostationary satellites, which are going to test future technologies involving communication and docking. They will be launched very soon on the Dynamics MLV rocket.
We are coming up on 6 minutes till release. All teams report that both vehicles remain healthy and within all limits set for today. But just in case we don't launch today, we have a backup date on November 23rd. If needed, we can also hold the clock at T2 minutes, for up to 10 minutes to fix any issues we may have.
As we continue to wait, let's take a look at the engines on board this vehicle. Development for the Gaia engine started in July 2023 for the Fusion Air launch vehicle. It was built to output 245 kilonewtons of thrust using liquid oxygen and liquid methane. Sales of these engines are to start in March 2024. Alongside the Gaia engine, we developed the Meter, a vacuum-optimized engine utilizing the same propellants for an output of 145 kilonewtons. These engines are to begin sales to other companies very soon during February 2024.
Fusion Air continues on its flight path, and we are about to start the final climb to 20 kilometers.
Gaia engine chill has started.
Fusion Air is now in the final stages of flight preparations. The ascent continues to look great, and we are on target for a release in 4 minutes and 20 seconds.
Fusion Air tanks pressurizing to flight levels.
As the tanks pressurize to flight levels, teams will prepare to hand over control to the flight computer at T2 minutes. After this, the rocket will be in control over its systems. And if an abort is called, we will not be able to recycle. Fusion Air has now leveled off at around 20 kilometers. And we will now wait as teams complete final checks before the handoff.
Really exciting now, only 3 minutes till launch. We'll quieten down till release so you can hear mission control. As we approach launch,
T-minus 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Vehicle is go for handoff. Eight, seven, six, five, four, three, two, one. Release, release. Ignition. Pitch maneuver.
Aircraft is into recovery mode 1.3.
Wow, that was a clean release. Fusion Air is now on its way to space. Next step is the shutdown of our Gaia engine and separation of the second stage, where we will hopefully see a stable ignition.
Absolutely amazing shot coming from the rocket's first stage camera.
Stage to engine chill has started.
about 20 seconds from first stage engine cutoff.
First stage shutdown. Stage separation and ignition of the Demeter engine.
Wow, absolutely amazing. We have had a successful ignition of our upper stage engine. Everything looks good here on the ground as our vehicle pushes toward orbit.
Fairing separation.
Our payloads are now exposed to the vacuum of space. We are about a minute away from the first shutdown of the Demeter engine. After this, we can expect a 12-minute coast phase with a loss of signal. After this, we will light up the engine again at 500 kilometers to place the vehicle in orbit.
Shutdown confirmed.
Vehicle on a nominal trajectory.
Expected loss of signal beach and peninsula.
We have now entered the expected loss of signal. We will return in around 10 minutes in time for acquisition of signal and the final burn.
Goodbye for now.
Acquisition of signal equatorial outpost.
Welcome back. We have just regained signal from Fusion Air and we are now just under a minute away from the relight of Demeter. This burn will place the payloads into a 500 kilometers orbit before we deploy them.
Engine ignition.
Fusion Air is now performing that final burn.
Engine shutdown. Nominal orbital insertion. Welcome to Space Fusion Air.
Our teams have confirmed Fusion Air has achieved a nominal orbit. Let's watch as our payloads deploy.
Payload deployment confirmed. Congratulations, teams.
We have had a successful mission. Our payloads have successfully deployed into the target orbit. We will now end this webcast here. We'd like to thank everyone for joining us today. We'd also like to congratulate our teams for successfully getting to orbit on the first attempt. I am Zach Connor.
And I am Ian Ridgewell. See you soon and have an awesome day wherever you are.
Goodbye.